conspiracy episode. About to see what happens. I don't know what's gonna happen.
I don't know what I've been told. Conspiracies are really weird.
Welcome everybody to Red's Ramblings. Special episode today. We're not talking to somebody from another country. We're talking to a man from my country in the States, Holliday. I put out a thing, I think on Reddit, to get somebody interested in conspiracy theories to come on the show and talk to me. Conspiracies are fun. Whether you want to believe them or not, they are an interesting topic to discuss from time to time. Some people believe in them as their 100% truth. Some, like me, skeptical, but still fun to talk about regardless. So Holliday responded, said he would like to come on. So Holliday, go ahead, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
All right, so you can call me Holliday. I'm from the great state of Florida, home of the original crackhead energy. I'm a construction worker, and I moonlight on OnlyFans. I mainly post that kind of content on my Reddit account, but I was on the conspiracy subreddit since it's a topic that really interests me, and I was like, hey, I'm sure I could fill up an hour talking about conspiracies.
Yes, why not?
So, I've been into conspiracies, off and on since I was, a wee lad. And my core philosophy when it comes to conspiracies is that basically anything could be true. Pretty much anything is a conspiracy, just with different levels of verification. Like the difference between the truth and the conspiracy is just that one bit of broadly accepted verification to go with the story.
That's pretty fair. I would imagine. I would say that's pretty fair.
There are some conspiracies that make some rather large logical leaps, which make them harder for me to hop on board with. You're not going to see me saying the world is flat anytime soon.
But
that's
fun.
Because I wanted to be an astronaut when I was a kid. So,
Didn't we all?
Didn't we all? So,
at one point it was astronaut or dinosaur, Batman. Astronaut, dinosaur, Batman. Yeah.
Yeah, for me it went like dinosaur, garbage man, astronaut.
What? Garbage man.
You see that man hanging off the back of the garbage truck.
No, I will agree
going
there.
Down
that
the
was
street
cool.
At 30 miles per hour, and you go,
that was cool.
I want to be that guy.
Exactly. I'll give you that. That is actually cool. I do remember having that same thought when I was little. Yes, I will agree with you on that one. Okay. That's very true.
So it wasn't about garbage. It was about hanging off the back of the truck while it's moving.
Yeah. I'm okay with that. That's fine. Yes, I'd agree. So what, because before we officially started, you asked me what my favorite conspiracy was. I couldn't exactly tell. Because it's like you said, that's like saying, or asking what's your favorite song, movie, whatever the hell. If you know a few of them, it's hard to pinpoint. But so let me flip it on to you. What would you say, though, is your favorite conspiracy?
Well, like you said, difficult question. But I think that the big, Pandora's box of conspiracies, like the classic has to be Area 51.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you cannot beat the classics.
Yeah. If you had to think of like the granddaddy of them all, the godfather of conspiracy theories, it probably is 51 too.
Yeah. I mean,
that's the oldest one that I can recall.
Yeah, just
besides like, Bigfoot and Loch Ness, like, mythical creatures, which that you can kind of just put into mythology.
Yeah, I feel like the cryptids, like that halfway point between myth and conspiracy or reality.
But true conspiracy theory, I would put that like granddaddy of them all, the beginner. Yeah, Area 51. I think that's fair. Yeah.
Now, personally, I don't think they have aliens there.
Oh, you don't?
I don't. All
Hold on,
right.
hold on, hold on. Alive or dead or at all?
I'm gonna say at all.
At all. Okay.
Yeah.
Ever? Do you think they've ever had them?
At Area 51,
Yeah.
I do not believe so.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting.
But I can rationalize my argument.
Okay.
Okay. So, doing some digging into the whole story of Roswell and Area 51, you know, like the Groom Lake Air Force Base was first built as a testing location for the U-2 spy plane. They need something with a very long, flat, natural surface for a runway. They chose Groom Lake because salt flats, very flat. It's in the name. The original Roswell crash. Now, if you do drink the media Kool-Aid, they say that it was a weather balloon.
Yeah.
But it was actually a more complicated thing than that. It was a high altitude listening station from Project Mogul, which was this early warning system we had back in the day for detecting nuclear detonations.
Okay.
See, before we were able to get satellites into outer space, sorry for the flat earthers in the crowd, but this does run on the assumption that the Earth is round, and that space is real. So Project Mogul, what they would do is they would send these balloons up to the edge of space made of mylar, which, you know, back then, 1948, mylar was like some real space age shit.
Okay.
I mean, like something that looks like a metal but crumples like a plastic and doesn't deform. Yeah, that was one of the hallmarks of the Roswell crash. You know, it had like flexible metal.
Yes.
So these microphones would listen for the change in atmospheric pressure caused by the shockwave of nuclear detonation, and they could triangulate the position of the detonation based on when each balloon in the constellation heard the change in pressure. Now, back then, they had to keep this super secret because, you know, they didn't want the Russians to know that we knew when they tested their nukes. So when people started saying it's aliens, they were just like, shit, okay, you came up with the cover story for us.
Okay.
So they just kind of rolled with it. In reality, they test some really crazy next level top secret technology there. Now, is it more interesting than aliens? Probably not. But we're talking things like Halo Combat Evolved style plasma cannons. Okay? That's the kind of shit they've got going on in New Mexico and at Groom Lake. We're talking about systems that can literally make an airplane invisible. Now, the reason why I don't think aliens have been there is because if you think about the vastness of outer space, it's so fucking huge that it's hard to comprehend. I mean, like the sun is 93 million miles away from us. It takes like 8 minutes for light to get from the sun to us, and that's just inside our own solar system. If you run on the assumption that you can't break the light barrier speed-wise, then why would any alien spend, 10,000 years in a spaceship just to come over here and abduct some rednecks so they can clap their cheeks?
That is a fair, and I've heard that argument before. That is a fair argument. It's a sound argument. I mean, it does make sense. A lot of the pushback that I've ever heard of that, which again makes sense as well, is, obviously they have better technology, right? So like you said, we're running under the assumption, or for that argument, you're going under the assumption that we can't go faster than light.
Yes.
But there are some that say you can, right? There's some theories and whatnot. And then you have like the wormhole theory, where you can bend space and travel enormous distances, like that. Which is can go against that argument. And if they have a ship, like, I mean, we don't even have a ship like can have a colony essentially in space. We probably have
we've got
technology for
tin
it.
cans that can orbit the Earth for
Right, made out
extended
of
periods of
freaking
time.
aluminum foil, basically.
Yeah.
So if they have that type of technology, then there's a good chance they have technology that could warp space time and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah.
Both very possible, 100% possible. You can't really deny either. Then you can't prove either, which makes it fun to talk about.
Yeah, I'm just a fan of my boo Einstein. I mean, now then again, wormholes originally theorized as Einstein-Rosen bridges. That they were actually thought up by Einstein, and I can't remember the first name of the other guy, but they were some smart cookies. But currently, the math around wormholes seems to indicate that you would need to be able to generate matter with negative mass in order to stabilize them. Otherwise, the vibrations that would occur inside the wormhole would cause it to collapse while you're inside, and I don't even know what that would mean. I mean, does that mean like suddenly you're just vaporized and just exist everywhere at once? I mean, sounds like a bad way to go.
Yeah.
But like then, if you can warp the space-time around the craft, contracting it in front of your craft, expanding it behind your craft. Originally, the math suggested you would need energy equal to almost the entire observable universe in order to accomplish it. But more recent calculations show you'd only need like a Jupiter mass amount of energy. Still a lot, but if the payload were valuable enough and the trip were important enough, could be achieved,
Well, I know we have a cat that is kind of start off weird, but I'm going somewhere. We have a cat here that we have. He has been dubbed Lord Nibbler. And if anyone watched Futurama, everyone knows the Niblonians poop antimatter. So if I ever need a Jupiter's worth of mass to warp speed somewhere, I will just go to the litter box from Lord Nibbler and I will make it there. So there's that.
Now,
Futurama fans know me.
We may have been in contact with objects of extraterrestrial origin, though.
That's what I was going to ask you next.
Familiar with the Black Knight satellite?
I am. I think you mentioned that when me and you first started going back and forth on Reddit a little bit. I'm familiar with it. I don't know if I believe it. I get it. Like the photo that goes around when Black Knight satellites is brought up. It definitely looks curious. It looks strange. It looks odd for sure. I don't know if I'd be on the I don't believe in that one. But I'm assuming the way you started it seems like you might actually be for that. Is that correct?
Well, it's something I'm kind of 50-50 on.
Okay.
But it does segue into another topic. So the Black Knight satellite, for anyone who's not familiar with it, it is an object that was purportedly found orbiting the Earth in a polar inclination orbit, which is, highly irregular. Things within the solar system typically orbit on the same plane as, the planets. So this object, it was seen orbiting, and I cannot find.
I got it pulled up right now
for the date, but
for the
there's
date of what?
word going around that's supposedly like 12,000 years old.
Okay, well, I got, if you look at your screen, I don't know, I have at least the Wikipedia page for
Okay, yeah, I'm
the
seeing
Black
this.
Knight satellite conspiracy theory. There's a picture of it for those that are watching. Okay, here, history, some UFO conspiracists, according to some, the Black Knight is an artificial satellite of extraterrestrial origin that has been orbiting Earth for approximately 13,000 years. I mean, and it does look weird. It doesn't look like typical space debris. Um, it is one of those things that you do question. You do question.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely do question.
Now, it could just be, a Mylar space blanket, basically, a piece of heat shielding that
Yes.
came off of some other orbital craft.
Mhm.
But it also kind of makes me think of the topic of Bracewell probes, if you're familiar with those.
Not at all.
Okay, so there was I want to say he was an astrophysicist or someone who worked in like the search for extraterrestrial intelligence field. His last name is Bracewell. I think his first name is like Ronald or something like that. Yeah, I just realized my camera's off. I can turn that on. Okay, so okay. Anyways, a Bracewell probe is basically like the monoliths from 2001 A Space Odyssey.
Okay.
Um, so it's like knowing that the galaxy is fucking enormous.
Mhm.
If a civilization wanted to make contact with any extraterrestrial life that may be in this galaxy, they could make a von Neumann probe, which is a craft capable of building copies of itself,
Okay.
and include means on the probe to establish a communications link between the home planet and the entire network. So a Bracewell probe could have, like some sort of code based on mathematics and prime numbers, in order to teach whoever finds it the language of
Okay.
the
Yeah.
aliens who built it, and basically just say, "Hey, what's up? Where the grays from Zeta Reticuli.
Yeah.
If you go, like to the first star on the left and go on till morning, you can come meet us. And here's a design for a faster than light driver, that kind of thing. Like welcome to the galactic community."
Isn't that? Did we kind of sort of do something? I'm about to pull it up now. Yeah, I remember. I guess it could be like our version of it. I'm sure you've heard about this.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
Voyager Golden Record.
Yeah, like we put it out
Um,
to like show them where we are and
mm-hmm.
hey, this is what we look like naked and all this kind of weird shit.
Come clap our cheeks.
I remember this. Okay, so so that's like the Bracewell probe is like the alien version or more high tech version.
Yes, it's a
Okay.
more high-tech version because with us, the original mission was just take pictures of the outer solar system with the Voyager
Yeah.
probes. And then an almost last-minute addition was to include, a record with a bunch of music and us talking and where we're from. So maybe if someone out there found it, they could see what we're like.
Yeah.
But with the Bracewell probe, the entire point of it is to make contact. And if you have a craft that could make, say, 10 copies of itself every 40 years and travel at 10% of the speed of light, then you could have a Bracewell probe around every star in the Milky Way galaxy in about 250,000 years.
Okay, so it travels, makes a copy, leaves the new or the old one there, goes, makes and just drops it off, drops itself
Yes.
off essentially. Okay, I got you now. Okay. Unless you're about to get to it, is the method that it copies itself explained at all? Even though this seems like obviously some hypothetical shit, futuristic stuff, but is it at all mentioned?
That part is not mentioned, but basically the only thing keeping us from being able to make von Neumann style machines, which are machines that can build copies of themselves, is we have to create a machine with high enough artificial intelligence that it would be
Skynet
able,
shit.
like, yeah, you got to think about, like, what goes into making a toaster, you gotta mine the iron and extract petroleum to make the plastics. And like, if you want to make your own toaster from scratch, I mean, you'd probably spend like 5 years on it, and it probably wouldn't even toast very good, know. I mean, if you had to like go out into the middle of nowhere and mine your own iron ore and all that kind of stuff, I mean, like, life isn't as easy as Minecraft,
Yeah.
But if like, this probe were useful enough, at general purpose tasks, and if it could extract resources from asteroids and smelt them and print it into sheets, kind of like 3D printer wise, I think we would we or some other species would have to basically invent like a molecular printer. Something that could just like print an entire object, like Star Trek style with a replicator.
Yeah.
If you could make a replicator that could replicate itself, then you could send this thing off into space, and you could have the entire galaxy mapped in 250,000 years, which sounds like a long time, but I mean, like, humans have been making fires for like what, 80,000, 100,000 years.
Yeah. I've never heard of this Bracewell probe, the John
von Neumann. He
von
was
Neumann.
Von Neumann's guy who came up with the concept of the von Neumann probe, which would be something that could build a copy of itself. Ronald Bracewell is the one who extended the concept into a means of setting up contact points. I mean, you could even think of it being kind of like Mass Effect, Or
never played that game.
I played.
I get where you're talking.
Yeah.
I get where you're going though. I totally get where you're going though. I get that. So see right here, like, I didn't know what I was coming into talking about conspiracies, but I learned 2 new things: Bracewell probe and von Neumann probes. So that's cool. I feel like this is already a win-win situation for me.
If we were to find the Bracewell probe, it would probably be on the moon.
Okay. Now, do you listen to Joe Rogan's podcast at all?
I listen to it kind of in waves, because if you look at the people he has on, you can see that Joe Rogan will just get really into a specific topic, hardcore, for like 2 weeks at a time.
Yeah.
And then he kind of gets bored and moves on to something else.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
I agree there.
like, if he goes on a conspiracy kick, or like when he had people like John Carmack on, who, cool guy, or, like he had like this one guy who was like a professor of quantum mechanics on.
I think I know what you're talking about.
That was a really good time to be listening to Rogan for me early last year, because like I love all this like really out there science stuff and conspiracies. And then he kind of went on to doing like a pretty long kick of just like celebrities and people who hunt. And like, I may be from the more rural part of Florida, but I don't hunt, so I'll be like, sure, the elks, you shoot the elks.
When he has Bowmans and hunters on, I kind of don't watch those either. I mean, because
like,
you're from the South, I'm from the South. I don't like country music. I don't drink beer. I don't care for football. So I don't fit down
hold
here
up, you
either.
don't drink beer?
No. Nope.
I mean, is it
Nope.
an alcohol thing or a beer
Oh
thing?
no. Oh no. It's a beer thing. Beer's disgusting. I got some moonshine in the fridge right now. I got
Nice.
a bottle of Hypnotic in the fridge. You know, my wife, she does the beer. She does the beer drinking in the family. Not me.
I like beer ones with food.
I
If
don't like it at
just
all.
want to buzz, not so
I
much.
don't like it at all. But the reason why I asked about the Joe Rogan is you probably heard about it if you haven't heard the extra episode. When his most recent one, he brought back Alex Jones, right?
I've been meaning to watch it, but I've been working out in the middle of the BFEs, and I haven't been getting any like cell phone reception, so I can't listen to it when I'm at work, and that's when I listen to podcasts.
Yeah, exactly. Same here. That's when I do mine. Holy shit, was that episode insane? All right,
Really?
so I mean, if you think of like who's the king of conspiracy theories, it's probably Alex Jones.
Oh yeah.
Definitely the most famous. But at one point he goes into a rant. Well, not even a rant. He tells a story of who's the astronaut? Not Buzz Aldrin. Who's the other one?
Neil
the
Armstrong?
I think it might have been Armstrong. I think it was Armstrong because I do remember an A. Either way, he was talking about one of them that they came on to Alex Jones' show. So they came on to his show, and he told them about he saw aliens on the moon. It's on the there's an obelisk that the aliens built. Aliens built pyramids and all this kind of stuff, and it's one of those. Again, the aliens building pyramids is kind of sketchy to me too. I get where people come, why they say it, and there's some other ancient civilizations that have some crazy architecture and sculptures that make you wonder how do they know what that looks like?
Yeah.
That definitely make you curious as a motherfucker.
Definitely.
But even in it, they young Jamie pulled up an article that said that the astronauts representatives said that never happened, that he never said that. So you kind of got to take it. One is Alex Jones, so you got to take it with a grain of salt regardless. But so to swap from space travel and whatnot, I want to ask you then about the recent Pentagon report that came out, though, that said that they do have spaceships from not of this planet. I'm sure you've come across that at some point.
Now, is that in reference to the Tic Tac and Go Fast incident?
It's a reference to the Tic Tac one. I'm familiar with that. The Go Fast, if you're talking about just the fact that it like went.
Yeah, Go Fast was another one of those, like declassified military UFO encounters, kind of like the Tic Tac. That particular video has just been referred to as the Go Fast video. Rogan had one of the guys who was on that plane.
John Fravor, if I remember correct.
Yeah, Fravor. Yeah. Now, are you asking like what I think of that one?
Yes, because I'm asking because you don't believe that we had any type of. Well, you said we didn't have any aliens ever at 51. Would that be safe to say you don't believe we had any crafts either?
Yeah, so I'm highly skeptical of crafts from other planets just due to the vastness of space. And if we were to get a craft from another planet that was able to travel that distance without taking several lifetimes, then we wouldn't be wasting time in Iraq and Afghanistan right now.
That's a fair point.
We'd be looking at God Emperor Trump, eternal glorious leader of the United States right now. And that's not based on my opinion of Trump. I'm just saying that,
Yeah.
if we had spaceships that could go from here to Mars and back in 10 seconds, then there wouldn't be any question who the world's greatest superpower was. I mean, unless we were keeping it secret because Russia and China have them too, you know?
Yeah, very true.
See, I think that it's more a matter of how compartmentalized the government is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, I'm sure you've, like, had a job at some point at, like a gas station or, something pretty basic. Like I worked with gas stations for several years.
I worked for Dollar General at one point.
So I'm sure you probably knew a little bit about the financials of your store, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
But you didn't know about the financials of the Dollar General on the other side of town, right?
Oh, no.
They don't tell you everything just because you work for them.
Yeah,
I mean, like, information tends to be kind of need to know. You're like, even if you're like a major in the military, you're not going to get all of the secrets because, like, not even a matter of loose lips sink ships, but like the more people who know about something, the more there's a chance for a slip up. I think that the Tic Tac was a ship, or well, an aircraft, perhaps with some sort of cloaking device on it. And if it were to obscure the area around the craft, then that would basically give it like the oblate spheroid Tic Tac shape, you know? The only thing I can't really wrap my mind about around is the bizarre motion.
Yeah.
Like, turning on a dime is one thing, but going from sea level to several miles up in seconds.
Exactly.
I mean, like, I weigh 190 pounds because I've got the entire planet's worth of mass under my feet pulling me down. Like, it takes a lot of effort to fight gravity. So I think that he definitely saw what he saw, but I lean more towards it being some other government project that he wasn't privy to.
Could be.
And I think, just like in the case of Roswell, the military is more than happy to just let people think it's a secret alien than they are to say, hey, look, we've got invisibility cloaking on our airplanes.
I've come across that, and it makes a lot of sense. I mean, when you put it into perspective like that, it makes a lot of sense because, if we have that type of technology, we are leaps and bounds above any other country that we're aware of.
But then it makes me wonder, what are we doing with the fucking invisible F-35s, I mean, like,
it's outside your window right now. That's what
I mean,
that's
like,
what it's doing.
We could be at war with, like, South Africa right now. We wouldn't even know about it, you know?
But it makes it, if you have some, like, you make a breakthrough and it's some awesome, mind-blowing weapon or vehicle, aircraft, whatever, and you don't want anybody to know about it, fuck yeah. Oh yeah, no, that was aliens. Let them see that. Let them have that. If that's, and like you said, if that's what they want to go with, fuck it. That way you ain't got to have no cover story. You ain't got to have no weather balloon. Let them have it, and whatever. That I've come across that before, and if it's all bullshit with aliens or whatnot, it's and it's like, 51, maybe where we started the 51, the Blackbird, which at the time was super secret. Why the hell not? Yeah, let's blame it on aliens. You guys want to call aliens? Fuck it, call aliens while we work on this supersonic jet and shit. Hell yeah.
Which makes me wonder, we never found out how fast the Blackbird goes. That makes me wonder, like,
right?
What do we have now?
That's always bothered me as well, because we have we still have, like, I'm sure we have a few of them that are still in semi-working order if we wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
We had this super leap in technology, this plane that was fastest thing we've ever created, human has ever created. It didn't
Mm-hmm.
last long. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Or did they just decommission it while they did something else to it? And
See,
it's flying out our windows right now. We just don't
that's what
fucking
I
know
think they
it.
did with the Star Wars program.
I've heard of this. Tell me a little bit more. I've heard a
Okay,
little bit.
so Star Wars is the name given to Ronald Reagan's pet project.
Yes.
The OG God King Ronald Reagan, the original TV star president. Okay,
Yes.
so he unveiled the Strategic Defense Initiative, which was going to be a network of satellites with a platform of space-based intercontinental nuclear missile detection programs, along with kinetic projectile and energy weapon-based defense measures.
Yeah.
So basically, like when an ICBM launches, it's most vulnerable when it's coming off the launch pad. Because once it gets into orbit, it's moving, it's too far away to intercept. And once it's re-entering the atmosphere, it's going at like Mach 10, it's falling at terminal velocity and it's shaped like an arrow,
Yep.
So their plan was to just put all the defenses in space in order to detect them and knock them out of the sky before they could get to us. Now, this program, now the kinetic weapons, that was called Project Magic Pebbles, which would basically just be like guns
It's
in
like
space.
a rail gun, right?
Yeah, like rail guns.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they also had plans to put lasers in orbit, which they now allegedly none of this was built. I don't think none of this was built because of a little something called Project Misty, which I can send you a picture of this. So I promise that I am not sending you a picture of a top secret government butt plug. It just looks like that. How do I open chat? Oh, there we go. Okay. So that is the US patent for Project Misty. Yeah, you see what I'm talking about now.
Yeah.
Secret government butt plugs.
Okay.
So, Project Misty was a National Reconnaissance Office project that was worked on. Let's see here. I have a little bit of information written down here.
Let's see. Oh, okay.
Okay. So, they launched 2 satellites, one in 1990 and one in 1999 officially.
Yeah.
And they had launches that they canned in 2004 and 2007. And the cost of the project was $12.3 billion.
Okay.
I don't think that they spent $12.3 billion on 2 satellites. But it's basically just a highly reflective mylar balloon that sits on the Earth-facing side of a satellite. So if anyone shoots any radar up in the sky or points their telescope at it, it just reflects the darkness of space around the satellite, making it effectively invisible.
Okay.
I think that this kind of technology is what they use to actually carry out the Strategic Defense Initiative. Like without us catching on to it.
So you think this stuff is up there right now?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I think the biggest example we have is the Zuma launch. See, there was a satellite that was launched by SpaceX January 8th, 2018, they launched Mission 1380, a Northrop Grumman-built satellite on the behalf of an unnamed government agency dubbed Zuma. The launch itself went off without a hitch, but the payload was lost after detachment into the required orbit. This is allegedly due to a failure in the payload adapter, and Zuma supposedly crashed into the Indian Ocean. But if SpaceX lost a payload that was supposedly worth several $billion, don't you think the government would have canceled their contracts with SpaceX? Don't you think they would have tried to pin a little bit of blame on them?
Oh yeah.
SpaceX is the newcomer. Like, everything they do is like flying by the seat of their pants, basically.
Yeah.
But they were just like, oh well, it was the taxpayers' money, not mine. Who cares?
Yeah.
Well, I think it was either some sort of next generation spy satellite, or it was some sort of orbital weapons platform.
You know that I just thought of it just now, how much sense that makes. Because if you think, back in the day, you can get away with a lot back 20, 30, 40, hell, 50 years ago easily. You can get away with a lot because technology wasn't as easily accessible. We didn't have fucking like, you can buy a telescope that can look at Mars right now. You can buy, shit that can see pretty clear pictures of space and have it sitting on your balcony. It's harder to hide shit. So yeah, like if a government wanted to send a rocket into space, any type of rocket, it's going to be on the news somewhere. You can't do that shit secretly. And if it happens to be weapons related, you're not going to say it's weapons related. If it's for your country or whatever you want to call it, there's no way you're going to let the world know that you're launching something weapon related into space. You're not going to let that know, So what do? Well, like you just said, you get SpaceX, the company that's doing this shit for fun, shits and giggles sometimes, and give it to them. Don't tell them what it is. You can still do that. Then just say it crashed. Say it didn't work. That is how I would do it. If I had to do it, that's how I would do it. Because you can't come out and say, we launched a NASA satellite, weapons grade, blah, 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 bullshit. You cannot get away with that.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And I think if it is weapons platform, there are two options for what it could be. All right. The first option, have you heard of the rods from God?
Yeah, I have. I love that shit. Tungsten rods? Hell yeah.
Yeah, just drop in a tungsten telephone pole.
That shit, like I've seen a few animations of it and I'm like, what the? Like you're thinking bombs and nuclear bombs can do something. And you think this fucking rod of pure metal can do so much more.
I'm getting chills. Okay, remember Beirut?
No.
The Beirut explosion that happened earlier this year?
I can Google it.
It literally vaporized like their entire port.
You talk. Yeah. Nope. I know exactly. Yep. That.
Nobody saw what it was. And do you really think they just had a warehouse full of ammonium nitrate just sitting there ready to go off like a powder keg? Or could it have been some sort of kinetic bombardment?
I'm one of the. I think that one was just a fuck up.
You really can't underestimate the criminal negligence of certain nations.
Exactly. Now, if this was like, a bigger civilized nation like a London, or obviously us as well, places like that.
Like something just mysteriously just go in China.
Yeah. China would make me curious because they're testing all kinds of weird ass bullshit, I'm sure.
Both China and India have tested ground to space missiles for knocking out satellites, which is another reason why we would need to cloak our satellites, just like with Project Misty.
Not only that, on typically I don't know if you've looked at my other stuff I have on my podcast. I speak with people from around the world, different countries and whatnot
Mhm.
about, culture and traditions.
I did listen to your episode with that nice lady from France.
Cecile.
Cecile.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's her
Yeah.
name.
She's cool. She's cool as
Yeah.
hell.
Yeah, that was a cool episode.
I like her. She's cool. But I had one. My first one with India was a guy from named Umvesh from Lucknow. He's a young journalist over there, and he told me about the Indian space program and how, they're doing sort of what we do for like pennies on the dollar. Like they I can't remember exactly what it is, but they put something into space for the same amount of money that it cost Hollywood to make the movie Gravity. Like a
Yeah,
few
didn't
$100
they
billion.
send the Cheney probe? Was that the name of it? I'm
It might
probably
be.
mispronouncing it.
I can't. I don't remember. Me and him probably spoke about it, but I do not recall off the top of my head. But like their space program is doing shit for hundreds of millions of dollars, which ours can't really do anything without a few billion attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
So they're doing, whether or not it's safe, who knows. But they're kind of doing what we're doing just for a lot cheaper. And if they can keep that up and get better and better at it and get it cheaper, shit.
It'll spur on competition. Everyone's gonna have to step up their game.
Hell yeah, you're right.
Break
You're
up
right
the
about
U.S.
that.
and Russian monopoly on space.
Oh, damn, Captain Elon Musk.
Yep. Future president of Mars, right there.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
Oh yeah. I did have one other thing I mentioned over Reddit last week, which was Project Marauder, which is the other potential, thing to be used as an orbital weapons platform. I think it's more likely to be used either on naval ships or on, say, a modified Airbus or like 727. But it is a plasma railgun.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
So this thing can shoot a few grams of hydrogen gas at 3,000 kilometers per second. Not meters per second, kilometers per second. And that was in 1993, if I'm not mistaken. The last we heard a citation about it was 1995, before it was acquired by the Department of Defense, classified in 96. They were projecting being able to reach 3% of light speed by 2000.
Yeah, see, it's like with the 71 Blackbird. It's like if we were like Blackbird, we had it, and then it kind of, we decommissioned it for whatever reason. To say we've made something better, no, the fuck we haven't, to my knowledge, anyways. But yeah, so we haven't heard anything since, according to this, since 95. But to think we haven't made some sort of leap in this technology in, was that 25 years?
Yeah.
Or 15 years? 15.
25.
No, 25. Yeah.
25
years, dude.
Yeah,
Come on.
We're getting old.
Come on, bro. Right? Shit. Yeah, that's insane. They might have, if anything, they put it on the back burner, because like, let's wait 10 years till technology's there.
I think railguns were on the back burner for a long time.
And we have them now, don't we?
We do.
Yeah, we have them.
I don't have it on me right now, but I actually have a slug from a Navy railgun. Yeah.
Dude, that's badass.
I'm going to be moving into a new apartment soon, so I'm going to be going through all my old shit. And if I find it, I'll snap a picture and send it to you.
Yeah, that's badass.
Yeah, when I was in Boy Scouts, I had to miss this one trip. But my buddy got to make a trip to a Navy base up in Virginia. Yeah. And got to watch them test fire the railgun, and they let him keep the slug.
That's awesome as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the videos of them. Like, I can't remember what it was. A countdown of like futuristic weapons
Oh,
and
like
whatnot.
Future Weapons on
Oh, I
the
love
Science
that channel.
Channel.
That
Oh
channel,
man, that show
fucking
was my
great.
shit.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you watching that shit, and it's like, fuck, what the hell we gonna do next, man? I think that's where I found out about the god rods, the tungsten rods
Uh-huh.
and whatnot. Yeah, that's some cool ass shit. That's definitely some cool ass shit.
Hmm.
But I want to kind of, if something else you know about, hopefully, get off the weapons and the alien. Do you have something that's not weapons or alien related?
Okay. How about now? This is something that a lot of people are probably thinking about more recently due to Stranger Things, but
Okay,
the Montauk Project.
that's new to me.
Okay, so the Montauk Project, the show Stranger Things
Mhm.
is kind of loosely based off it. It was kind of part of MK Ultra,
Oh, yep.
and it was experiments using radio waves in order to influence the emotions of people
Mhm.
and to kind of increase people's remote viewing capabilities.
Okay. Okay.
So, in fact, I think Alex Jones kind of touched on it in
Probably.
his almost 5 hour long interview on Rogan's podcast. I'm telling you, one day I'm just gonna go through that and just try and like that 5 hour interview is like modern day Nostradamus.
It.
Like anthropologists are gonna be researching that interview for like decades.
Yeah, that man just rambles so fucking much, and
Hey,
you have to calm him. You have to calm his ass down because he'll just go and he just won't
mm-hmm.
stop. He will not stop till he's red in the face, and he's
The
always
man's a
red in the damn
machine.
face. He is. He's a damn animal. But when you separate the bullshit, he's been right a few times.
Yeah,
He's been right a
yeah.
few times. And he's
I
made some
like.
horrible ass mistakes. Some fucking
I think he's
yeah.
more correct than a broken clock. You know, he's correct more than twice
Mm-hmm.
a day.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think he kind of was done dirty with the whole Sandy Hook thing
Yeah, but even that, like
because
he knows he fucked up.
he knows he fucked up and he's apologized so many times.
Yeah,
And like, I'm pretty sure he had to pay out like a ton of money for
I
that
think so
mistake
too.
too.
Yeah.
And like, believe me, I think it was wrong. But like, if you look at the conspiracy like environment back then,
Mm-hmm.
pretty much everyone who's talking like current conspiracy events back then was talking about the same stuff. But
Yeah.
since he had the largest audience and
Yes.
he brought it up because everyone was talking about it, that's what got him painted as, the dead kids guy,
Yeah. He got, like you said, he had the biggest audience at the time, so he it put a target on his back,
And
and everybody went after him.
I think it just shows that he really has to be aware of his
Mhm.
burden of responsibility for having such a large audience.
Yeah.
You know, like you do have to think about what people might do when you say things if you have that kind of,
Yeah.
audience. But yeah, so there are some people who say that the government has been figuring out how to influence people's thoughts and or
Mhm.
emotions through
Mhm.
electromagnetic radiation, and the Montauk Project is where that supposedly started.
Mhm.
I think that has some connections to HARP. If you've heard of HARP before.
I think I've heard of it. Yes.
HARP is like this ambiguous boogeyman of
Mhm.
the conspiracy community because it's basically just this array of high power antennas up in like Fairbanks, Alaska, or like butt fucking Egypt.
Mhm.
And the official story on it is that it was meant to like charge up the ionosphere with like very low frequency radio waves in order to research its composition and whatnot. But you could
Wasn't
also, yes.
wasn't that the basis of the of the movie with Mila Jovovich. Hold on. Hey, sweetie, that Mila Jovovich alien movie from Alaska, The Fourth Kind.
The Fourth Kind.
It was based in Alaska. She was like some kind of doctor, psychologist, or whatever. She believed that alien or somebody. She believed somebody killed her husband, but he had been ruled a suicide. And but like when they filmed it kind of like the Blair Witch, if you remember, based off a true story and whatnot. And it's not. It's all made up supposedly. But they use kind of like real world events up there, and I think some antenna was loosely involved in it. Yeah, my wife shaking her head, and yeah, like it made people see things and think things because it came on a certain time at night, at a certain time every time people would see things. Apparently, I think that harps probably loosely about it as well.
Yeah, like if you look into it, it all looks completely above board when you look at it online. It's like, okay, so it's just a giant phased array antenna. What's the big deal? And then when you look at the conspiracy community, people think it does everything from cause or cure cancer all the way up to, like calling the aliens or whatever, Right. So it's like, it's weird and ambiguous, but I think that, it may be kind of like a Montauk Project kind of thing where people where they could energize the ionosphere in order to cause, like changes in attitude in people, like, I guess that is in literal tinfoil hat territory because tinfoil blocks radio.
Well, I do know I've read and watched a few documentaries. There's one on Netflix. There's a docu-series. I can't remember off the top of my head what it is. But it speaks in depth about various CIA projects from way back in the day, like during the MK Ultra days, where like MK Ultra, they tested drugs on people to see if they can essentially control them, and there was one I can't remember exactly, but it definitely falls in conspiracy theory territory because they're not going to admit it if it was true. Where we had, I think, a base in Italy, somewhere over there in Europe, Italy or France. We had a military base, and somebody in charge of something over there worked for the CIA and kind of tested out something in a local bakery. And so that this bakery put out bread that everyone in the town had every morning, right? Everyone went there. And I can't remember what the cause was, but something happened, an adverse effect to the town folk, and it was linked, quote unquote, to this head of the military or head of something who worked for the CIA who was living on the base over there. But even if you don't want to believe that, there are numerous other cases that we do know are facts that the CIA tried to fuck with people numerous ways. So, like, when you hear about stuff like that, like the HARP thing, like, are they doing it? Are they not? Who knows? But we know they've done other shit. Yeah. We know they've done other shit to fuck with people's brain, to warp their minds and twist them with drugs or you name it. We know those cases have occurred. So who's to say they aren't doing it in other ways, and definitely aren't doing it now? Like, when's the last time you heard the CIA doing anything? Modern history. I don't.
Yeah. Like right now, they're just the boogeyman that gets tossed around when talking about which, septuagenarian presidential candidate is colluding with who,
Yeah. And so it makes you wonder because, again, we know they've done this. So who knows if they did that?
Like, look at Iran-Contra, I mean, like, they've done some unethical things, and I'm not like going all anti 5G conspiracy theorist on them, but I don't think it's too far of a logical leap to assume that if you blast enough radiation into someone's brain, eventually
Yeah.
they're going to start to feel funny.
And I mean,
It's
yeah, my
like that.
basic.
I saw this internet historian video. I don't know if you see him on YouTube. Guy's fucking hilarious. But he was joking around with one of his like podcasting or streaming friends,
Yeah.
and they're talking about the whole 5G things. They make lots of jokes about it. And he's like, we all know that, like Wi-Fi is safe. But if you start holding a Wi-Fi router next to a baby's head, eventually someone's going to tell you to back the fuck off.
Yeah.
There are just certain things that, we just assume, maybe you shouldn't do that.
Exactly. Yeah. Maybe. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's totally true. That is true. And a lot of that stuff, especially when it comes to radios and whatnot, it's pretty known fact. If you know any basics of radiation or radio wave, it's kind of a known fact that a little bit might not do you any harm.
Mm-hmm.
But if that shit's concentrated and you are prolonged to it for an extended amount of time, it will fuck you up. We know this. So it again, it kind of falls into that, it's very possible.
Like AM, FM radio. I mean, that's gotta be harmless. I mean, like, no one's like killing themselves over the radio,
listening in the car and just dying and shit. Yeah.
Like, I think the worst thing that could happen, like, with AM, FM radio is, if someone turns on the top 40 station and decides to end it all, get out of it.
That's very true. I'll agree with you on that one for sure. Well, Holliday, I don't mean to cut you off.
Oh, it's all cool. It's all cool.
I'd like to have you on again, though. I'd like to have you. I like this. This is good. Yeah. I'd like to have you on again. Because again, I didn't know what this was gonna end up being. I had some people. I had some people on Reddit who responded. Like they sent me a list, kind of like how you did. They sent me a list of stuff that they were curious about, and I'm like, this shit looks boring. Like one of it was like financials, and I don't want to know a financial conspiracy, like bank related. But like the aliens ish is always fascinating. Weapons stuff is always fascinating. Whether or not our government is secretly or has ever secretly tried to kill people of our own country, that's
is
some
it
fascinating
really
stuff.
Conspiracy though.
Exactly. Yeah. We know certain shit's true. This is the kind of stuff I enjoy. So if you don't mind, man, I would love to have you on again a second time. Don't know when that's going to be. I'm pretty booked for the year, but probably sometime next year if you're still okay. I'd love to have you on part 2. Both of us can research some new things. I'm sure after next week, some new conspiracies are going to pop up.
100%. I'm sure.
Yeah, that's guaranteed. Guaranteed. But man, once again, I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today. And the floor is yours. If you want to plug anything you got, go ahead.
I don't really have anything to plug. I mean, I ain't gonna go plug my OnlyFans on here, so I'm just gonna say it was a pleasure meeting, talking to you, Red. That this has been really great. Jealous of your beard. Mine doesn't get much longer than this. It kind of falls out if it gets any longer.
Well, so, I see you got little the curl. I did that for a while, but then it gets aggravating.
Yeah, I snip the ends to keep it even every now and then. It's something my cousin and I decided to do when we started getting ripped at the gym. We're just like, hey, let's look like a couple of 1920s carnies.
Right? Exactly. Yeah, you got a little vaudevillain look about you.
Yeah. That's
I'm
pretty much it. It's more dedication than dyeing my hair, but not as committed as a tattoo. It's pretty much the exact level of commitment I need in my life right now.
That makes sense, man. I'm good with it. I like the way you got it going on. So once again, Holliday, thank you very much, and you have yourself a wonderful rest of your day.
All right, and thank you too. You have a great day too. All right.
All right.
All right. Peace.